Sure, most people play Super Smash Bros. For the adrenaline of battle, but one of its finer joys is understanding a subtle, well-placed reference in the moveset of your Smash brother or sister of choice. Naturally, it's hard to keep track of every single reference across every single game, so Legend of Zelda fans, this one's for you. Let's get started with the main protagonist of the Zelda series, Link. He's the only Zelda character to have been in every single Smash game, but oddly enough, this hasn't been the same Link every time. In Smash, every Link has been based off of whatever Zelda game is in vogue. The original Smash Bros. And its sequel Melee both feature adult Link from Ocarina of Time. That's not to say that other games in the series aren't represented in his moveset. Most notably, Link's up and down aerial attacks are the jump thrust and down thrust from Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, which you learn from random knights who don't even say hello. The jump thrust never appeared again, but you can down thrust in Four Swords, Minish Cap, and Breath of the Wild if you do a down attack from your parasail. While most of Link's neutral attacks are standard sword swipes, his forward smash bears a strong resemblance to his final strikes to Ganon in Ocarina of Time. However, his most famous sword technique makes an appearance in the form of his up special, the spin attack. This is Link's signature move, debuting in Link to the Past and appearing in every single Zelda game since. While in the game you can charge the move before releasing your Fury, you couldn't do the same in Smash until Brawl. Otherwise, Link's moveset is heavily reliant on items that he has acquired throughout his journeys. Link's first neutral special in the N64 version was his Boomerang, but that was moved to his side special when that was actually made a thing in Melee. Although the first Link of the Smash series is based on adult Link in Ocarina, only his younger counterpart is able to use it in that game. That might be why in the N64 Smash it's blue, much like the Boomerang from A Link to the Past. Instead of the Boomerang, his neutral special became his bow, specifically the fairy bow that was acquired in the Forest Temple. Link's down special, Bombs, have appeared in every Zelda game save for Zelda 2. A similarly iconic item in Link's arsenal is the Hookshot. Although having debuted in A Link to the Past, it was most prominently featured in Ocarina. In Zelda, the Hookshot is used to latch onto walls and ledges, but Smash didn't let us do the same until Melee. His entrance animation in the N64 version has Link entering the arena by gracefully floating down a column of light, the exact opposite of how he leaves a completed dungeon in Ocarina. In Brawl and Smash 4, we are given a brand new version of Link, based off of his appearance from Twilight Princess, and this makeover came with some changes to his items. His bow and bombs have been aesthetically updated to match their appearance in the new game, but the Boomerang actually received a significant mechanical update. This new item is the Gale Boomerang, which creates a nifty little tornado when it's thrown. In Twilight Princess, it's often used to transport objects, and the Smash version brings opponents towards you. Nice! Additionally, you'd think that Link's new entrance animation where he appears emerging from a tornado would be caused by the Gale Boomerang, but that's not the case. It's actually a reference to the recorder item from the first Zelda game. The Hookshot has also been replaced by the upgraded Claw Shot. In Smash, the hook and claw shots function identically, but there's a difference in application within the Zelda franchise, given that the claw shots are shaped like, well, claws. Brawl also introduced a new mechanic in the form of final smashes. Link's initial final smash was the Triforce Slash. As the wielder of the Triforce of Courage, this encases an opponent with a Triforce symbol matching the ones that appear on the hands of a Triforce bearer in the Zelda series. Interestingly, Brawl's version of Link comes from Twilight Princess, but the final blow of the Triforce Slash seems highly reminiscent of the final strike that Link dealt to Ganon in Ocarina. Perhaps the Triforce holding the opponent in place was also meant to evoke how Zelda similarly held Ganon in place during that fight. Also, it's interesting that years after this final smash was introduced, Breath of the Wild saw the inclusion of a similar barrage of sword swipes, called the Flurry Rush. Ultimate ended up changing Link's final smash, although the Triforce Slash still lives on as Toon Link and Young Link's final smashes. Link's new final smash in Ultimate, Ancient Bows and Arrows, follows the Breath of the Wild craze. In Wild, this eccentric oldster named Robbie constructs the Anti-Guardian Ancient Bows and Ancient Arrows, especially for you. If your aim is true, you can say goodbye to those horrifying guardians with just one arrow. A one-hit KO just like the final smash can be. And that's just one Breath of the Wild update that Link gets for Ultimate. From his new paraglider entrance animation to his appearance and moves, this is the most dramatic change to Link that we've seen thus far. His bow is still pretty standard, now being one of the more common ones that you see in Breath of the Wild, the Traveler's Bow. However, Link can now pick up extra arrows from the battlefield and use them to fire multiple arrows at once. The Gale Boomerang has been removed, being replaced by the most generic one from Breath of the Wild, so those tornado-pulling stealing properties have also been dropped. Another missing feature is the fancy hook and claw shot grabs, making Ultimate the first Smash Bros. Game where the standard Link has a similarly styled grab. But the most notable gameplay difference comes from bomb usage. Previously, Link just threw a bomb and it would either explode on contact or a few seconds after being thrown. In Breath of the Wild, on the other hand, you have this nifty ancient tablet called a Sheikah Slate, which granted Link the ability to remotely detonate his bombs. This act of manual detonation was brought into Ultimate, which completely changed up usage and strategy. Nifty. Despite these fancy changes to his specials, Link's base moves have stayed remarkably consistent over the years, and the same goes for his taunts. In every game except for Brawl, Link had this kind of ballet-esque stance. Many say that this is the pose that he makes before attacking an Adventure of Link, and I kind of see it. His sword/up taunt mimics his move after he defeats a boss in Twilight Princess, and his side taunt stars a blue fairy, which is undoubtedly Navi from Ocarina of Time, which makes sense why this needed to be changed for Ultimate. And of course, if you press nothing, then Link's shield automatically blocks projectiles, just as it always has since the very first Zelda game. Okay, so that's enough about Link, at least for now. Although his moveset is chock full of references to the Zelda series, how about the character that the series was actually named after? Well, ironically enough, Zelda doesn't fight in most of the games, so when she debuted in Melee, none of her neutral attacks had any referential basis. Her specials are from Ocarina of Time, but they weren't hers. They were spells that were granted to Link by the Great Fairies. Zelda's neutral special, Nehru's Love, is a blue crystal that Link can cast around himself for a minute of immunity in Ocarina. Zelda expands upon this in Smash, giving it both reflective and damaging properties. Conversely, her side special, Din's Fire, is downgraded. Zelda can merely emit little controllable fireballs, where in Ocarina, Din's Fire is a person-sized orb that radiates from Link and damages everything within a certain radius. Fiore's Wind, Zelda's up special, only shares a name and a general concept with its Ocarina counterpart. In Smash, it's a disappearing, reappearing jump attack. In Ocarina, it creates a warp point inside of a dungeon. These spells are named after the goddesses who created Hyrule, the goddesses of wisdom, power, and courage respectively. Using these spells does make sense considering that Zelda has some goddess blood herself, which is a long story. Zelda's down special allows her to transform into a completely different character with a completely different moveset, Sheik, which makes sense considering that, spoilers, Sheik was Zelda all along in Ocarina. Because of the 3DS's hardware limitations, Zelda and Sheik were separated in Smash 4, meaning that they needed new down specials. Zelda received the Phantom Slash, which references the DS game Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. In Spirit Tracks, Zelda can possess a Phantom indefinitely to help Link complete dungeons. Both of these games are toon style, so the Smash Phantom was also significantly redesigned in order to match Zelda's Smash aesthetic. Zelda's final Smash in Ultimate is the Triforce of Wisdom, wherein she seals opponents in the Triforce and launches them. In the core games, Zelda is the bearer of the Triforce of Wisdom, and a sealing power is mentioned in several games. It plays a huge role in Breath of the Wild and in Ocarina, where she uses her power to hold Ganon down for Link, which then helps the sages seal him away. Before Ultimate, both Zelda and Sheik had light arrows as their final smash. Starting in Ocarina, light arrows are a powerful weapon, often playing an important role in final battles. However, the first time that Zelda wielded them herself was in Wind Waker. Now, Brawl took the light arrow designs from Twilight Princess, wherein they function as Zelda's signature weapon. Most of Zelda's taunts are Smash originals, but her oldest, which dates all the way back to Melee, kind of looks like a prayer from Ocarina. It's probably a part of that whole goddess thing that we mentioned earlier. Just like Zelda, Sheik was playable for the first time in Melee. While her magical counterpart at least had some references with the various spells, the only move at Sheik's disposal that's not a Smash Bros. Creation is her up special, Vanish. Every Sheik appearance in Ocarina is accompanied by a very quick and abrupt disappearance. Every time. This is on her terms. In both Ocarina and Smash Bros, a key part of the move is aggressively throwing a Deku Nut onto the ground. Unlike in Smash, this doesn't create an offensive explosion in Ocarina, otherwise Link would be toast. All of Sheik's other moves, especially the bouncing fish, are just super random ninja-inspired moves, so don't even ask. In Ultimate, Sheik gets her very own final smash, the Sheikah Dance. While not a direct reference, Sheik's attitude channels the Sheikah tribe, who have for ages guarded the Triforce and consequently, Zelda. The tribe's symbol, the Sheikah Eye, is prominently featured, and her blade also resembles the 8-fold long blade, a weapon that Breath of the Wild says is, quote, passed down through the Sheikah tribe. So we've got the Triforces of Courage and Wisdom covered. Now let's take a look at the wielder of the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf. You certainly fight the human Ganondorf in games like Ocarina, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker, but few of his moves specifically reference the Zelda series. Let's be honest, in Melee, he was pretty much a slow, beefy Captain Falcon clone. Ultimate is the first game where his smash attacks can actually be tied to any concrete references, finally using his sword from that Space World 2000 demo, which you better believe he flaunts in his down taunt. The names of his specials basically just reference that he's the leader of the Gerudo tribe. Warlock Punch, Gerudo Dragon, Dark Dive, we get it, he's a wizard who likes to do dark magic. Starting with Brawl, he gets Flame Choke, which looks suspiciously like the rushing move that he pulls at the beginning of Twilight Princess to kill off one of the sages. The chokehold itself, though, looks like his hold on Tetra in Wind Waker. If done while midair, the consequential ground pound is similar to a slam that Link might receive during the penultimate battle of Ocarina. So this move is a triple reference, which is probably to compensate for how none of his other moves have any history to them at all. In Smash 4, you can change Ganondorf's Warlock Punch to the Warlock Blade, which features the Sword of the Six Sages from Twilight Princess. The sword was forged specifically to kill Ganondorf, but he killed one of the sages with it instead and apparently kept it. Even though it was a short-lived custom move, being able to actually use the blade in some capacity is a hell of an upgrade from him just pulling it out to show it off as a taunt. Ganondorf's final smash in Ultimate is Ganon the Demon King. Previously, it was Beast Ganon, but the main difference is that Ultimate's Ganondorf is based off of Ocarina's version, rather than Twilight Princess's for Brawl and Smash 4. Both moves transmogrify him into his demon form, and he charges across the stage. Like in the memorable battle from Ocarina, Ganondorf can harness every dreg of his Triforce of Power to transform. These Ganons tend to just ram into things and take big swings, which is exactly what Smash's Ganons do as well. So we've got the three Triforces covered, but what about the little guys? Well, let's hop back to the Links. For the first time since Melee, young Link is back in Smash for Ultimate. His moveset is a clone of the Ocarina-based Link from Melee, except young Link uses the Kokiri Sword and Deku Shield instead of the Master Sword and Hylian Shield. In Ocarina, the Master Sword has to be snug in its pedestal for you to play as young Link, and I mean, young Link could technically use the Hylian Shield, but you couldn't exactly save Hyrule while turtling up. He does keep the old fairy bow, but the big difference is that young Link gets fire arrows. They were introduced in Ocarina and have appeared in plenty of games since. That's a little strange though, considering that in Ocarina, young Link can't use either the fairy bow or fire arrows. Also, fire arrows typically deal more damage than normal ones, but effectively the opposite is true in Melee. Regardless, from his hookshot to his boomerang to his classic bombs, young Link's moveset is a nostalgic love letter to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. These callbacks certainly fill in the gaps that were left by the standard Link being so different to match Breath of the Wild. Even his taunts pay homage to those N64 games, with that classic taunt having him take a large, refreshing swig of Lon Lon milk. He brings it out with such force that the cork flies straight upward off the jar, which defies gravity entirely. Of course, with Navi being removed from the standard Link's taunts, she's found a new home right there in young Link's pockets. Toon Link is originally from Wind Waker, and because he replaced young Link following Melee, he's mostly just a duplicate of the previous character, which is odd because young Link was also a duplicate of a previous character. What makes Toon Link unique though is that all of his equipment, including the explosion which he enters the arena in, all borrow their designs from the cel-shaded world of Wind Waker. Smash 4 took this a step further by making Toon Link's Master Sword glow blue like when its power is restored in Wind Waker. It also added custom move variations like young Link's old fire arrows or the sliding spin, which was based off of the Wind Waker special move, Hurricane Spin. One of Toon Link's taunts is conducting the Wind Waker itself, and you hear the same jingle as for when you successfully conduct in the game, although he's not playing any specific song from that original game. Finally, his side taunt brings out a Wind Waker style fairy. It's not nearly as special as Navi since there's no personal relation, but it does help sell Toon Link's unique style from the other similar characters. And there you have it. Who's your go-to Zelda character? What other characters do you want us to cover? Tell us all in the comments. I'm Drake, and before you go off into the glory of battle, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the leaderboard.